Hello, hi Bilan. Hello everyone. You can hear me, right?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I was on mute.
Yep.
I said, the agenda, Kieran's just going to share it.
Okay. Sure, no problem. Um Anyways, so we can wait still 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, yes.
No problem. Can I get myself ready?
Meanwhile, I am setting up the live streaming to YouTube, so we are also at the same time will be live on YouTube.
So we're not going to have our videos on, isn't it? Cameras on.
Nope.
Okay.
So welcome everyone. Let's wait for 5 more minutes
Okay.
to start.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our event of Move to Europe. Hope everyone's doing well today. I can see that we've got a few people that we might be waiting for. So while we wait for a few minutes, I've got an icebreaker questions for you guys. Can anyone tell me if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be and why? Anyone can share that with us?
You can enter your answers in social channel in the Discord.
Yeah. Anyone got any ideas? Jagdish, where would you live for 1 year? Judy's responding.
I already entered my answer in the channel.
Did you? Where did you say?
Where I am
Yeah.
exactly.
Stockholm, really? 1 year? Europe, growing market. Nice, dude. Where in Europe, though? America, Kiran. USA, KK, Kumadwati. Stockholm, dude. Okay. What about you, Hashid? Europe where? Specific. Sweden, China. Everybody loves Sweden, don't they? Stockholm or Helsinki? Sweden is you. Oh, France. French. Diego. Stockholm. Maybe Ireland or UK. Yeah, now, come on, I'm liking you now. Nice. Hawaii. Yeah. I was thinking more somewhere hot as well. If it's 1 year. Okay. Thank you. We'll give it a few more minutes. Anyone else? So if we say somewhere in Europe, what would be your favorite city apart from Stockholm? Gothenburg.
I'm not really sure if it comes under Europe or not, but Zurich in Switzerland may be my next favorite city after Stockholm.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking more Finland because they've got the work-life balance, haven't they? 4 days a week.
Oh, that's good.
Gothenburg, Dublin. Yeah. Ireland is a big one, isn't it? Ew, where's that, Diego? Oh, it sounds like Swedish city. Okay. Swedish island. Nice. You love the islands. Why don't you say one of the Greek islands? Okay, great. Thank you all. So if we start now with our agenda. So the agenda for today will be, our first speaker will be Jagdish Verma. He's the IT lead instructor and mentor. He'll explain the Move to Europe program to all of you. Then we'll have time to ask any questions that you may have after that presentation. Then after that, we will have our second speaker, Diego Viena, a talent acquisition and business development manager, who will explain the sign-up process and what will happen after you've started the Move to program. Then we'll open up the floor for more questions. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to our first speaker, Jagdish.
Yeah, thank you, Bilon. So before jumping into the topics, I would first introduce myself. Hello, everyone. This is Jagdish. I'm a tech lead and consulting manager, and also I will be your trainer and mentor for Move to Europe program if you subscribe to this program. So I come from India, from the southern part of India. I have nearly 11 years of experience in IT. I started my IT career in 2011 with a Bangalore-based consulting company. I first came to Sweden in 2012 to work for a client called Brightstar Abhi. Earlier it was 2020 Mobile Abhi, and then again I came in 2015 to work for Apotheket. So people who are in Sweden are very familiar with Apotheket, which is a pharmaceutical chain company. So and I really liked it here in this country, and I always wanted to relocate here. So I've worked nearly 7.5 years in my first company, but mostly I was working with the Swedish customers. So I've built a network, and in 2019 I moved to Sweden, Stockholm, with my family. And initially I worked with Svenska Big Chans, and then right now I'm working at Quinix as a lead, and also I take care of training and mentoring at Stockholm IT Academy too. So I've mostly worked as a consultant in my entire career. So I've played different roles because I was working in very small companies. So there was almost everything that I would do that client requires. There was no restriction to a particular technology or field. Throughout this time, I've got good experience and understanding of most of the IT related jobs or designations, you may call. And I've worked with waterfall models and agile methodologies, and I have seen the transition of companies changing their ways of working with IT teams and all. And also I am someone who found opportunities while I was outside of Europe. And the very hard thing for me when I decided to move to Europe or Sweden in my case was, though I had a lot of network and lots of colleagues who I worked with for around 7 years, it was really very hard for me to find a way to get the leads of applying jobs, you may call, or getting interview calls and all. So it was really very hard for me. I would say in total it took almost 2 years after I decided to move to Sweden, but then I managed. So that's the reason we have this Move to Europe program now. I found a lot of people like me who really want to move to Europe, or in general move abroad once they got good experience, but they don't know where to start. So that was my motivation to start this program. And so what I would be covering if you join the program as a trainer and mentor, I will break down one by one, but in nutshell first I'll give you the highlights or the bullet points. So uh, I will just explain in a nutshell now each topic, but once you join the program it will be more or less like one-on-one training, mentoring on each things. So first thing will be how to create a resume according to European standards, and then second thing will be cover letter, and then how to use your LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is very big in most of the European countries to find opportunities. Then your typical job search strategy, how it should be, all the processes involved in the landing a job in Europe. And then I will explain few things about references, and I will explain few things about interview preparation, and also what else we offer more other than these things. For example, mock interviews and assignments, helping with assignments, and then consulting opportunities that we provide through SITA, Stockholm IT Academy, and then mentoring and career coaching. These are all the things that I will cover now one by one. And then you can ask any questions. You can also interrupt me in between. Don't hesitate to ask questions. You can raise your hand to speak and ask questions, or you can also post it in the social channel, in the Discord, so that we can take the questions and give the answers. So you can ask questions at any point of time while I speak, so you don't have to hesitate. So let's start with the first thing, resume preparation. So when I was working as a consultant, I had almost 5 pages of resume. I tried a lot with that resume applying for the jobs, but it was of no use or no help for me. Then I realized it is always good to use a single page resume when you're applying for any European companies. And there are lots of tools available online to create a single page resume. Some people argue that single page resume is not enough. We need sometimes 2 pages or more than 2 pages. I have seen people who have almost like a book, 10 pages, 15 pages, even more as well. People who do PhD and do lots of research and projects, so they have to show everything that they have done. But trust me, if you really want to get into interview process, get shortlisted, nothing helps more than a single page resume. So your single page resume is your chance. And how to create that? You, as I said, you can use lots of online tools. And if you join our program, we will also review your resume and we'll also give you more tips on how the hiring managers and recruiters think and how you should modify your resume for each and every job that you apply. You can't have a static resume. You should have a dynamic resume that you will change for every job that you apply. So simple tip, single page resume and according to EU standards, and you can use lots of tools that are available online. And also it's good to have someone who can review and assess your resume rather than you do it by yourself and think everything is right. So if someone can assess and confirm that, it would be really good for you. And then cover letter. So recently we posted in our LinkedIn a poll about whether you will attach a cover letter along with your resume when you apply for a job or not. So almost more than 50% of the people said they won't consider, which is a red flag, to be frank, because in European region, most of the hiring managers or recruiters, they would really love to find your motivation to apply for the job. You can't simply just create one resume template and be applying for all the jobs out there. Let's say if you're a front-end developer or a QA engineer or a DevOps engineer, you can't just create some simple resume and then you'll be applying to hundreds of jobs that match your job description or your designation. So you will get 100 rejections if you apply for 100 jobs. So that's what the experience of most of the people who are trying to get into the European job market. But your cover letter plays a key role. You really have to spend good amount of time understanding the job description, and you should really write your own cover letter explaining why you think you are best suitable for the job and what are all the things that you found really interesting. Not only one way. So I mean, when I say one way is how you are a good fit for the job. That is the benefit for company. So let's say, for example, if you have 70 to 80% of matching skill set for the job description, that's good for company. But there should be some good for you also. That is also the mindset of EU recruiters. So they will also consider that these are the things that you found really interesting, which is good for you. So it's two-way. It's not just one way. One way, it's good for company. Another way, it should also be good for you to have a long-term relationship. So your cover letter should consist of these things, and you have to write it. And we have some templates which we can share with you to write a good compelling cover letter. Most of the things you can keep as it is in the template, but you should also, as I said, you must write your own thing that exactly is specific to customized to that particular job that you're applying. So if you apply for 100 jobs, you have to write 100 cover letters that are different. Maybe 60-70% of the things that can be common in the cover letter, but the remaining 30-40% must be changed every time that you apply if you want to get shortlisted. Otherwise, guess what? So 99% of the chances that you will not be shortlisted because someone else will write a compelling cover letter explaining all the things they will get shortlisted, not someone who didn't have enough time to write a cover letter explaining why they are best suitable for the job. So we can also help you with the cover letter writing, and we can share some templates that we have with you, so on and so forth. So that is the entry point, your ticket for an interview process: resume and cover letter. These things you must take care. That is the first step, and very very important step. You have to invest a lot of time in these two sections. So we spend almost 2 to 3 sessions only dedicated to resume and cover letter. We will do several reviews after you submit your first single page resume, and we'll modify it in the next section, and we will again review it, and we'll suggest few more modifications, and finally we make one sample job, and we'll make you to customize your resume according to that sample job, and then we'll try to apply for the job. So after that you will have full command over how to customize your resume and how to have the best resume that helps you to get shortlisted. And then LinkedIn, the third thing, which is very very important in European region. So the first way, the resume and cover letter are your tools to apply for the job. So you reach out to the recruiters with those two, resume and cover letter, and then if they are satisfied with it, you will get shortlisted, and then the interview process continues. But LinkedIn is so powerful that if you manage your LinkedIn profile and network and connections well, recruiters and hiring managers will start contacting you through the LinkedIn. So we have entire dedicated action items list just for LinkedIn, what you all need to do, and what modifications you should do, starting from having a good profile picture to having good cover letter to writing about yourself. And sorry, this also helps you to fill the gap that you have with your resume. So some people will have a lots of experience, lots of projects in their profile, maybe a 10 years old year experienced person will not be satisfied having a single page resume. But LinkedIn is your chance to put everything, even your voluntary experience, the organizations that you worked with, projects, and in detailed description about the projects, and your recommendations. You can have as many recommendations as you want or can in LinkedIn. So there is no limit in LinkedIn. So as I was saying, we have a complete list of action items that you can maintain your LinkedIn, so that recruiters will contact you, and then the interview process again starts from there. So it also helps you to have a best impression. Then the important part, you entered into the interview process, so you should have a proper understanding of how the European typical interview process works. So you will get really very good walkthrough of all the interview process, and we will also have several mock interviews, and we will also have a training on several sections in the process. But the typical interview process looks like this. So you will first be contacted by a recruiter, mostly from a HR person, and there will be a short call of 30 minutes to understand. Mostly there will be a behavioral questions and a mix of understanding your technical experience and how you solved problems using your technical skills. So it is not too technical, because HRs are not technical. They don't ask you any technical questions, but they try to understand your problem solving skills with your technical skills. Also they will ask you some behavioral interview questions. So that will be your first typical interaction if you are trying to apply for any European company. Once the HR is okay with you, they will also check some cultural fit and some other things, your visa or a few other things, and then it will be forwarded to the hiring manager. So typically most of the European companies will have hiring managers. Hiring managers will have fixed budget to hire any resource, so they decide the entire hiring process, who to hire, who not to hire, and all. So your next round mostly will be with the hiring manager, or the hiring manager decides to have a last meeting with you and forwards your profile next to technical panel. But once your first call with the HR, the 30 minutes call is over, that will be mostly forwarded to hiring manager. Then hiring manager decides whether to have an interview with you directly with hiring manager, or with a technical panel first and then with the hiring manager. So it can be something or other, can be first and second. So if you have a meeting with technical panel, never expect a typical question and answer session interview with the technical panel. Let's say, for example, if you're a Java developer, they're never going to ask you what is inheritance, what is polymorphism. Or if you are a front-end developer, they are never going to ask you how will you center a element using div or something. All these things, they are never going to ask you this kind of typical questions. Maybe 1 in 100 interviews can happen like that, but 99 of the interviews will not happen like that. Then how will they happen? So in a nutshell, they will check your problem solving skills with your technical skills and what kinds of interesting projects you did. So you will be really surprised if you attend the interview for the first time, and if you don't practice for the interview, how you can present yourself as a problem solver rather than a typical technical guy. So 99% of the chances are, not 99%, I would say 100% of the chances are there that you will not be selected for the next round. But there is a problem here with the interview process in most of the European companies. You will never get a feeling throughout the interview process that you are not answering right, or you are not performing well, or you have less skills. So these kind of things you will never feel. That's because it's a typical European mindset that even if you are not suitable for this job, you may be for sure suitable for some other job. So there is no point making you feel that you are not giving the right answer, or you are not fit for this job. So that is why that is actually not good for a lot of people, because then you don't know what mistakes you are making in your interview, and you will never know why you are not getting selected. So that's the case for most of the people who approached us in the past, who applied for hundreds of jobs, who applied for several interviews, but they were never selected, and they didn't know what's wrong, because they were always made feel that they were doing amazing during the interview process. So that's something you should take into consideration next time when you attend an interview. And if you feel that you gave your best, and if that's the feeling that you had after the conversation, so don't really trust that until and unless you are called for another round. Or I would say, don't really conclude anything until you sign a employment contract or you receive an offer letter. Till that point, nothing happened. So only when you sign the employment agreement, or once you receive the offer letter, that is when actually you really did good. Otherwise, you might have done good, but still you did not well enough to land a job. So you have to keep that in mind. So then next you will have an interview with hiring manager after technical panel. Mostly it will be a major part of the interview will be to understand your behavioral patterns. There will be a set of behavioral interview questions. No matter whether it is initial contact with HR, or meeting with the technical panel, or meeting with the hiring manager, directly or indirectly you will have behavioral interview questions. You can't avoid them. So the hiring manager interview will also go like that. And if hiring manager comes from technical background, they will also try to understand your technical competencies. Again, no direct technical questions asked. You may find 1 in 100 interviews where they ask direct technical questions, but 99 out of 100 interviews you will be asked how you solve the problems for previous organizations or companies or projects that you worked with your technical skills. And so these are the 3 interactive rounds that you will have. There will be one more round in some cases, meeting the team, it's called most of the times. So you will actually meet the team. It will be mostly informal. There will be your future colleagues will be there in that meeting, and you will talk to them, and they will ask you some questions. They will mostly would like to know about your personal interests, hobbies, etc., etc. So, but again, there will be no technical discussion as such. Maybe there will be some behavioral interview questions, but it is mostly informal. So that is actually optional. Not all companies will have the meet the team meeting, but you may also have that meeting. And that's it. So you will have this typical interview process. In between, some companies, if they really want to test your technical competency, they might send you an assignment. So we'll talk about that in the later sections. Some companies, for initial qualification, to shortlist or to filter out a lot of applications, they might also send you some online assessment to test your behavioral patterns again, or they might send you a coding challenge, or so a online assessment. Typically you will receive a link to your email, you will just click on it, and then you will have a time based online test, or sometimes you will get 2 to 3 days to finish some assignment or a coding challenge, something like that. But these are all not mandatory always, especially when people have more years of experience. Some these are something not that very common. For example, as a hiring manager in our company, I always avoid sending assignments and online tests to people who have more than 4 years of experience. I always avoid, because people are not really interested to spend time to do some assignments and projects. So we might not find, or we might miss some good candidates with that process. So some companies like that, some companies don't like that, but you may also receive if you are applying for a lot of jobs. And throughout this process, your HR person will be in touch with you always. They will follow up after every round of interview, and they will check how you felt after each interview, and how what were the questions that were asked, or sometimes if it is from a consulting company, they will also be interested to know the questions that were asked. If it is the company's HR team, they don't really stress on the questions asked, but they will ask you, they just want to make sure that the interview is over, so that they can plan the next round with hiring manager or some other sections. So finally you will reach to a point where you discuss the salary. If you clear all these rounds, so you will discuss the salary with mostly hiring managers, not HRs, but in some companies HRs will also do, because hiring managers hand over. As I was saying at the starting, hiring managers will have a fixed budget for every resource. They are the ones who decide how much salary should be paid to a particular resource, so they control that. Sometimes they want to have the conversation by themselves, sometimes they just delegate it to HRs, so that there will be no negotiation of salary and all. So how much salary you should expect, what is the average salary in Europe, it completely depends upon your profile, your experience, and where you are actually looking for the job. So it's very hard to say and hard to generalize now in this session that okay, this is the average salary for you, or this is the average salary for this experience, because you can always quote more than what information is available on the internet. And then if you search in Google might say the average salary for IT employees is 40 to 50k euros per annum, something like that. But that is not 100% true, because if you are working on some niche technology, you can demand more than that. Actually, you may demand not just 40 50, you may demand 60 72. So you really have to understand the demand for your profile in the market and how much you can expect. And also you should consider what actually will not block you from getting hired. So that is also important. If the opportunity is more important for you and you can compromise with the salary, you should also not quote that is very high for the companies. You should quote that is really comfortable for the company. So you should know all these things, but it completely depends upon your profile, your technical competency, your skills. You may be a Java developer, But if you are a full stack Java developer, or if you are a Java developer with some DevOps background and some other additional skills, maybe you can ask for more. So you should really understand your profile well first, and then come up with a number that you can ask for, which is also agreeable to the companies. So yeah, that is the typical interview process, starting from the first contact with HR to finally negotiating the salary. As I said, there will be some additional rounds or sections, like for example online assessment and a coding test, or they might give you a task. If you're a front-end developer, they might ask you to build an application with React. They will give you the use case, and they will ask you to deploy it to Heroku or Netlify or something like that. Or if you are a QA engineer, they might ask you to write test cases or write a automation test framework. Or so it depends completely based on you. If you are a backend developer, they will ask you to build some APIs. So it completely depends upon your profile what kind of assignment you will get, but these are some optional. Yeah, then so what else you will get along with getting 100% understanding of this interview process? So next thing is you will be asked behavioral interview questions almost in every round. So we have dedicated sessions to cover the most important behavioral interview questions. We divide them into several sections, like adaptability, cultural fit, leadership skills, and proactiveness. So we will take 30 very important questions that are suggested by LinkedIn, which are categorized into 6 sections. In each section you will have 5 questions. We will prepare answers for each and every question using STAR approach. So STAR approach is something which you should use to answer behavioral interview questions. We will practice all the 30 questions. We will have mock interviews on that, so that you become very confident and familiar with answering all the behavioral interview questions using STAR approach. You don't just simply answer a behavioral interview question. For example, a simple question that can be asked is, how do you resolve conflict with your colleague or manager at workplace? Or another simple question can be, what are the challenges or most tough things that you had to deal with at your previous project? So these kind of questions, if you are not prepared to them, it is very hard to give a proper answer that is expected using STAR approach. You will give a very vague answer if you say, how do you resolve your conflict? If you are not at all prepared, and if this is the first time you take the behavioral interview question, you may say just simply, I will stay calm, and I will wait for my colleague to calm down, and then after that I will talk, and we will solve the problem. So you may answer like this, which may sound as a right answer, but you have to use the STAR approach. You have to explain the situation when it occurred. You should explain the task that was in your hand at the time when the situation happened, and you should explain what was the action that you took, and then you should finally explain the result or outcome of this entire thing. Maybe you lent something, or you helped a company achieve something, or you helped any of your colleagues achieve or finish their tasks. So you have to always end with a positive outcome. So we will, as I said, we will have dedicated sessions completely for preparing behavioral interview questions. After finishing that, no matter what question is asked in any behavioral interview question, that will fall into one category. You will be very comfortable to answer any behavioral interview question after that. So that is the most important part for anyone who is attending interviews for any EU company. After that, more or less, we will have a technical mock interviews completely based on your profile. If you're a QA engineer, DevOps engineer, backend developer, data analytics, or it doesn't matter. So we will have mock interview, and we will do, let's say for example, you applied for a job and you got shortlisted, and you have an interview next week. So this week we will have a mock interview, and we will take that particular job description, and we'll prepare exactly for that job. We'll estimate what kind of discussion that might happen based on this job description, and what are all the things from your experience and from your projects and technical skills that you should present, so that it will be quite convenient for the HR or hiring manager to take you for the next rounds. We will do that for couple of jobs applications that you do. Let's say, for example, if you are selected for 2 companies, so we will do that, and we will also do some mock interviews with our own jobs that we pick. And after that, we don't need to prepare anymore for any new jobs that you apply, interviews that you come across, because by the time you will completely understand. So basically, by the time we finish the mock interviews, you will be 100% confident on how you can crack a job in any of the EU companies, starting from creating your resume by yourself to clearing the interviews, technical interviews, and negotiating the salary with hiring managers. So we will cover till that point by the time of mock interviews, along with behavioral interview questions. So after all the training has been done, what extra we can offer? So till this point, it is by yourself you will be able to find the job. So you will reach to that point. But what we can also offer you along with that, we have registered with some consulting agencies in Sweden. We can start finding consulting opportunities for you, mostly in Sweden. We get some opportunities from Norway and some other European countries as well, but for now our major focus is in Sweden. So we will take your profile, we will continuously send out to our consulting partners, and if any of our consulting partners find your profile interesting and they would want to offer you the work, then we will hire you on our payroll. We will take care of your visa, we will process your visa, and we'll book your tickets to fly, and we'll help you to find your initial accommodation here. You will work under our payroll, but you will be working for our clients. So you have to understand this very carefully. There are 2 parts. One part where we will give you all the tools that you need to find a job by yourself, starting from creating a resume to clearing all the rounds of the interviews and negotiating salary and joining in the company. We'll guide you that point, so you don't need us after that point. You can find a job by yourself. But the second part is we will also parallelly look for opportunities, as we are also in need of consultants for a lot of opportunities. But sometimes it is not that easy to find opportunities in our consulting market, because there are lots of filters to hire the candidates. But if you get any opportunity, then you will become our employee. We will hire you, we'll pay you the salary according to the market standards, sometimes maybe better than the market standards, and then you will work for us. So these are all the things that will be covered as part of this Move to Europe training and mentoring program. So you will have skills that will be helpful for you for a lifetime, along with finding the opportunities. That's why we have 100% refund guarantee if we can't help you to find opportunity within 1 year. So that's how much confidence we have in our program. So we helped some people in the past, but we really did not promote it a lot to gather more attention, to find more people, because we were not very big on consulting and staffing earlier. But we recently started working more on our consulting and staffing, so now we are in need of more consultants. Also, we are looking for more staffing opportunities. So this is the reason now we want to promote our Move to Europe training and mentoring program, and take as many people as we can, and train them and help them find the job, and also at the same time find consulting opportunities in Sweden through us as well. So that's all about what you will get if you join the program. I almost gave all the information that is needed, but we will go through each section that I mentioned in depth. We will have 1 to 2 hours of sessions for each section, starting from resume to, and we will have multiple reviews, and we will have mock interviews, and it is one-on-one. It is not a group training session, so it will be mostly one-on-one. Each individual will have their own set of action items. So if you attend the session this week, you will have action items or tasks that you should finish before you attend the next session. So the next session starts with revising or reviewing your tasks, how much you have done, what you have not done and all, and reviewing the tasks that you have done, and again improvements and action items on existing tasks and new tasks for the next week. So that's how it goes. It will not last too long, but mostly 10 to 12 weeks it happens. For those who finish the tasks every week, it will just be finished within 10 weeks, but for some people who need more reviews, it might take 12 or 13 weeks. But after 12-13 weeks, you will have all the tools that you need to find a job in Europe by yourself. Yes, so that's all from my side. So as I said, I will be your mentor and trainer for this Move to Europe program when you subscribe. And I will now hand over to Bilan again. Thanks, Bilan, for giving me the chance to speak. As I said, if you have any questions, you can post in the social group, or you can also raise your hand and ask now. So over to you, Bilan.
Thank you, Jagdish, for providing us with such a valuable information. Now the floor is open for any questions that you might have. Please raise your hand, or as Jagdish said, you can post it on the social. No? Okay, now we'll hear from our second speaker, Diego, and he will explain the sign-up process to you. Over to you, Diego.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Jagadish was brilliant as always and covered everything. So thank you. Made my job much easier. I am Diego Viana, talent acquisition at SITA. After Jagadish, I will be your main point of contact on the background, from the admission to help you to find a job in Sweden. I will contact you after this event. If you like what you listen, please join the program on our website. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me, mainly via email that will be our main point of contact. I hope to see you in Europe.
Thank you, Diego. Any questions? We've got a question. Jagdish, this one's for you. Why do we choose to have one-time payment of 12,500 and not a monthly subscription fee?
Yeah, thanks, Jude, asking for the question. So we can have a monthly subscription fee, but right now at this moment we are not considering that, because it is very important to have very serious people into this, because as I said, this is not some typical online training or a MOOC that you just buy a course and you get some pre-recorded sessions and you go through it and you're on your own. So it's not how that happens. We really want very serious people who determine to work in Europe. So we had experience in the past with a lot of people that seriousness has become a very big issue, as almost all our sessions are very interactive, and after every session we have these tasks that you should do. So when you pay upfront and join the program, then you are more serious, then you have a very flexibility. You are 100% into the program and you give all in. So there is no question or discussion about monthly payment or anything. So the payment part is done when you join, and you focus more on the sessions and your tasks in your hand, or finding the job and all. And again, as I mentioned, it is 100% refundable. So we will have an agreement that within 1 year, if you don't find the job, all you paid will be paid back to you without asking any questions. Zero questions, no questions asked. So that's why it is just one-time payment, to avoid a lot of complications and make things complicated. To keep things very simple and straightforward, you pay, you in, and you focus on finding the job, and you will land a job for sure. There is no doubt. But if things don't work out, and after 1 year, you will have your money back. Hope I answered your question, Jude.
Thank you. Ashit had a question. What is the price for this program?
So I shared a link in the social channel. You can find a few more details about the price and all. The price is 12,500 SEK. So you can just go to the link, and if you subscribe, you can just pay online with your credit or debit card, and you are in. So I've shared a link in the social channel where you can find more information and curriculum and few other things. Please be aware that after enrolling to the course, you don't get any recorded sessions. All the sessions are live sessions. The curriculum that is mentioned in the link that I shared is just for your understanding what is going to be covered once you join the program.
Thank you. Now we've got another question from Kiran. Overall, what do you feel about opportunities available in Swedish IT industry?
Yeah, so you can actually do a quick Google search. The opportunities are endless. A lot of companies hiring, but one thing I think we missed to cover, that is, so this program is best suitable for people who have 4 or more years of experience in IT. And we are here not talking about non-IT. It is purely IT. It can be a HR executive, or it can be any other department inside a software company or IT company, but it should be related to IT company. So the Move to Europe program is best suitable for IT professionals with 4 or more years of experience, and the opportunities are endless. Lot of companies really need the talent gap is always there. Trust me. Not in Europe, it is there in the entire world. In IT sector, the talent gap is there. So by joining our program, you not only get the training and mentoring on the job set strategy, we will also suggest you the technical things, because I am someone who has 11 years of experience into IT. But rather than my experience into IT, I am more into researching and studying all the new technologies and things that are being continuously updated, most in demand job designations, and the tools and technologies that inside the job designations. Let's say, for example, a lot of people have a misconception that if you're a QA engineer, you should learn automation, which is completely wrong. A lot of people don't know that. So these kind of small things, the technical things, the tools and technologies that you should learn, that will also be covered, which will make your profile most demanding, rather than, let's say, you can be just simply a Java developer. So you might be competing with other 100 Java developers, but that will not be the case, because we know exactly what European market is looking for in your resume as a Java developer. Maybe it can be a JWT security things that they want you to work, already have experience on. They might want you to have some Azure cloud experience, or a few other small things. You will also know that. But the opportunities are endless. There is a gap in the skill set, or shortage of technical people in IT. The gap is always there. It will remain, because the technology is increasing, everything is going digital. After pandemic, the opportunities improved. Companies are offering hybrid type work for a lot of skilled people. So if you have 4 or more years of experience, and if you are into IT, you have a job for you already. You just need to find the way to reach to that point, but it is there. Hope I answered your question, Kiran.
Thank you, Jagdish. What about Harshit asked, will this training be applied to find jobs related to data science and business intelligence?
Yes, for sure. Data science, business intelligence comes under job descriptions that are IT companies looking for. I would say data scientist is one of the most in demand descriptions or job designations, we had a lot of requirements in our consulting firms itself. So Bilon and Annie continuously looking for data engineers a lot, all the time. So yes, 100%, 1000% yes. If you are working with data, you have a lot of opportunities. We have opportunities ready. If you are working with data, we can forward your profile as soon as possible with our consulting opportunities.
Thank you. Jude asks, can someone from a non-EU country in Europe benefit from the move to Europe?
Yeah, that's really very good question. Yes, for sure. A lot of people from other European countries. So though we said move to Europe, it is 100% suitable for people. Let's say, for example, someone from Serbia willing to move to Sweden, they can apply. Someone from Ukraine willing to find a job in Germany, it is most suitable for them. So it is typically about finding a job in Europe. So it is 100% suitable even if you are in Europe also, because it doesn't have, you don't have to already know the interview process and all the other things already. So yeah, it is suitable for everyone. But our intention, as I said at the beginning, I had a really tough time when I decided to move to Europe, though I had a network and I worked with Swedish companies for almost 7 years, and I had Swedish colleagues because I didn't know how to get started. So to fill that gap, we started this. So a lot of people who are in Europe already know a lot of things. So, but if you think that you really need help, then you will definitely have something to learn for sure. So it's suitable for everyone.
Okay. Rashid asked, I'm not from an automotive background, so is there any possibilities for me in Sweden? Rashid is a Q engineer, web mobile, and he's got 10 years experience.
Yes. So in Sweden, in most of the European countries, people follow agile methodology for handling the projects or the software development and all. So in agile team, it is very difficult to have an automation test engineer, because when you have an automation test engineer, you are mostly involved in sprint automation. So the functionalities that are built during that sprint, you need to automate them, which is actually not a good idea, because the functionality is just built and you are going to spend time automating those functionalities, which is actually an unstable functionality, which can be. So you're not 100% sure that there will be no effects of that change. You might have to change it after the release itself. That is why a lot of companies prefer manual testers. So people don't like to use the term manual testers, but yeah, you can call them functional testers. Just for the understanding sake, we can call them manual testers. So manual test engineers are more in demand than automation test engineers. This is the reality. That is why if you see the jobs in LinkedIn, companies post separate jobs for automation test engineers. They don't post a typical QA engineer and then ask you to know both manual and automation. So automation test engineers are mostly hired separately. Manual engineers have high demand, more demand. Typically they are called agile testers, QA engineers, or sometimes manual test engineers, or test engineers, software test engineers. But yes, you don't have to know automation at all, not even 1%, and can still be a good QA engineer and find a job in Europe. What actually helps you more is your domain knowledge. Let's say, for example, if you have insurance domain knowledge, or banking knowledge, or healthcare domain knowledge, or e-commerce domain knowledge, that domain knowledge helps you more than your automation skills. So if you ask me, should I start learning automation to find a job or to get more opportunities, that's a bad idea. You should never do that. You should actually use your existing profile skills and then improve your domain knowledge and start applying to those companies, and maybe have some mock interviews, how to present yourself and all. Then you're all good. So yes, 100% yes.
Thank you. Any more questions? No? Well, thank you all for attending today. Please feel free to email Diego. I believe you all have Diego contact. I'm just checking, yeah. Feel free to email Diego or contact us via our SITA website, or you can contact us on this channel if you have any questions about what we've spoken about today. We look forward to being part of your next career move in Europe. So thank you, and
Thank
that's
you.
it for today.
Thank you, Bilan. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.